Racism is everywhere and it's institutionalized. We cannot really be racist because racism is prejudice plus power. Nothing I say up here nor anywhere in the world will impact stop front.
All right, welcome back to the beatzillapdx official news break. And this news break is about the California Task Force. If those who don't know, California has been in talks of reparations now for within the past year, I guess. And there's been multiple public hearing meetings, and this last week just had another set of hearings. And it's interesting. You know, I played some of the videos on my last broadcast, some of the clips from some of the speakers. However, this particular speaker is one that stood out, and it's always amazing to me. This person is actually sounding like Diane Yap, when I did a video on her last week as well. And this person calls up to the Reparations Task Force of California and starts going in on a nice long anti-Black rant. And we're just going to take a listen to that and break that down real quick. So without further ado, Karen calls in to the California Task Force.
23. Hello, yes? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, it's sad that we are moving away from King's dream of being judged by the content of your character instead of the color of your skin.
Okay, first let me start there. Moving away from King's dream. Well, one of King's dreams was about getting our check. Reparations was part of Martin Luther King's dream. And maybe this woman doesn't know that. Or maybe she does and is calling up to be dishonest, playing on everybody else's ignorance of Dr. King, focusing in on that dream of integration versus economic empowerment, to which, that's Dr. King. So again, always remember that Dr. King said this.
And a lot of white folk have demonstrated eloquently that they don't have no sense.
Moving towards a society where only race matters. We have become obsessed with defining everything in terms of race, using it as
again, what this lineage and what reparations is. Reparations is not about race. Notice how she keeps framing the conversation in race, because that means that she cannot think of any term outside of race, because she can't seem to wrap her mind around this conversation is about lineage, not about race. Let's hear some more.
a crutch, an excuse for not taking advantage of opportunities.
Whoa.
We have developed an entitlement mentality. And never has it been put on display more than with this disgraceful reparations board.
With this disgraceful reparations board. So what then is she saying is disgraceful? And why now is she so upset? And I'll, maybe possibly suggest the idea that she might be upset is some of these other groups that are also upset. We see the Jama woman, the African woman off of Twitter, who is now trying to interrupt and disrupt the delineation efforts on the OMB census, and of course, along with reparations, because again, foundational Black Americans are delineating from other groups and making sure we have our own solid, solidified identity as individuals. So these people are going out of their way to disrupt that. And clearly there's an agenda. So tell me why a white woman would call up with this type of vigor, and why would a Black, so-called Black woman, because everybody likes to say, well, we all Black. Well, then why is she trying to also undermine reparations?
Bottom line, one, slavery ended 160 years ago. It's wrong to ask taxpayers, many from families like mine who came to the U.S. after slavery ended.
Now, right on that point right there. No, it is not wrong. Because if you came here after slavery ended, you came here to benefit off of those slaves' free labor. What now are you entitled to? especially when you came over here to take advantage of the Homestead Act and such things like that. So no, the entitlement was in the ending of slavery and allowing your peasants from Europe to come over here. And just like Dr. King mentioned in one of his interviews that has resurfaced as of late, and he talks about how you were trained to farm. The U.S. government gave billions of dollars in subsidies. That's called entitlements. That's entitlements right there, ladies and gentlemen. And guess who it went to? It went to these people to which she just referred to while talking about entitlement. See how the devil plays? And this is why we're talking about the content of character, not the color of your skin. We're not talking about race. We are talking about this is the culture of this particular community. And this is a societal issue among this community. That's a character issue of this community, not about your race. Your race just so happens to be a very optic identifier of your character. A leper.
To pay for the wrongs of slavery. There is no causal link. The people involved have long since died, both perpetrators and victims. African American problems today are not the legacy of slavery or even racism.
Whoa. African Americans' problem today are not based off of slavery nor racism. This is an anti-CRT conversation without even engaging in the conversation of critical race theory. Because this is really the point logistically. And if you have watched these broadcasts for a while, I have played something before about the Daughters of the Confederacy, who were responsible for how we have our curriculum today and the skewed vision of American history that was always presented. They also made sure that the South was always praised. The South was not vilified. And if you notice in our generation, you still have people complaining about Confederate monuments that were put in place after the Civil War. So the Civil War was good and over. They went around and erected these things after that to commemorate their own. See, so that lets you know that that's not about a Yankee or Confederate thing. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. It is a white supremacy brotherhood and sisterhood, considering it's the women who was responsible for the teaching and misdirection and miseducation of Black children here in America. So again, this woman is coming in here with the character of disaster and saying, number one, why does she even feel that she's entitled to speak on this subject concerning somebody that's not her? Oh, because now she's so concerned about all of the taxpayers of California. Like Black people don't pay taxes in California. Okay.
Many Blacks are succeeding. Poor African Americans are victims of their own choices, the breakdown of their families, and choosing dependence on social programs.
Uh-oh. Really? Well then, like the Homestead Act. I mean, it seems to me that there's a whole boatload of white people in America that probably should be looking to either leave the country and go back to where people came from, or maybe be quiet. Because if you got here based off the Homestead Act, well, then you are here solely based on a handout and entitlement. You should probably return it and leave. So fire up the jet. See ya. Because, you don't like these entitlements. And when your people came to this country, that's how you guys succeeded. So you should rectify it. And here, even more so, white women. Hey, white women, you know that all the white women speaking for and against affirmative action and programs like that, like she's saying entitlements, which white women benefit from the most. So my suggestion would be women of her ilk, and they should start campaigning to remove white women from minority status. It seems like a novel idea to me. I mean, because when you come out here and you start talking about people's problems are their own and whatnot and this and that, and depending on the government and handouts, and well, then be on the forefront of the charge and lead the charge by getting white women removed from minority status, especially if white women outnumber white men and white men are the majority. Then how on earth could white women ever be a minority by that line of thinking? Anyway, let's continue to hear the Karen. And she does not sound like a old Gertrude. This is, middle-aged white woman telling you that she's just anti-black as ever, because this is a perpetuated culture.
This reparation scheme further disincentivizes them from taking advantage of what is available to them and will not fix the root cause of their problems. And 3, the U.S. has spent trillions on affirmative action programs, minority quotas and goals, college.
Wrong. Now, this is when you start getting into just spewing unproven facts. And so she's just going in on a white supremacist rant. This is just an anti-black rant. She has not provided any source of information or even alluded to any data. This is white supremacist anti-black babble.
Entry advantage, subsidized housing, healthcare, employment development. And least we forget general social welfare programs where there is no doubt a substantial fraction goes to individual African Americans. Do these programs count as...
Now, did you catch that one? A substantial fraction of welfare goes to African Americans. Who does the lion's share? Now, see, notice how she was saying black people benefit the most. Black people benefit the most. Black people benefit the most. Black people get a fraction share of, it's a fraction. You had to make it sound just as aggressive, but you could not tell that lie. So again, just letting you know, this is just an anti-black white supremacist woman rant. Because at the end of the day, she's fully aware of what white people benefit from, especially white women. And when it came down to welfare, that's when you just saw the truth of her knowledge of the truth come out. There it is. And once again, we're talking about the character, the content of character, not the color of this woman's skin, because we can't even see her.
Reparation. But the better question is, why haven't decades of these special advantages and privileges worked for African Americans? Why do 50% of black children live with a mother only? Children in fatherless homes are more likely to drop out of school, commit crimes, use drugs, be a burden on society. Fix that. Which leads...
Now, this woman is went straight Tucker Carlson at this point.
...to poverty. And poverty is linked to the lack of education. Why are African Americans not taking advantage of educational opportunities, especially in California? Fix that. And homicides. 90% of black homicides are committed by fellow blacks.
Richard Spencer and Jared Taylor. There it is. I mean, she's all of the consistent same talking points that have been repeated unfoundedly, nonsense. I guess this is I'm white and I say so. So this is why you shouldn't have reparations. Based on all of these things, I'm going to spew with no proof. And because I'm a white woman, you should obey me.
That. I am sure wrong has been done decades and centuries ago. It has been done to all races.
Decades and centuries ago. Decades? Like, so 10 years ago? George Floyd was just a few years ago, right? I'm sure there's been things done. What? This is why you do not want your children taught by people like this. You do not want your health to be given up to people like this. You definitely don't want to be sitting in the court of law with somebody in the jury like this. This is even more so the case why we need reparations now.
to my ancestors, to myself. Where do
Our
reparations
ancestors.
start and stop? You are creating a racial divide and exploiting white
Thank you
guilt.
so much for your
Shame
comments.
on you.
Your time is up.
White exploiting white guilt. How do you do that? How do you exploit white guilt by reparations? How does that even make sense? How? Because again, it's a government program. So how are you being affected there, ma'am? I'm confused. But obviously, so are you. So, that I just wanted to play this little tidbit because, again, another thing that really bothers me about things like this is why do we, in our situations, when it deals with us, have outsiders involved in the conversation? And these are people who oppose why we're here. What is that about? I really wish that would stop. Now, granted, this is a public hearing, so you can't really knock anybody for that, but just notice when all of these other groups have their hearings and they have their public call-ins and all of this, it is people of that group that are doing that. But when it comes down to us, we always have someone outside talking about what we shouldn't get and what we aren't entitled to and trying to always interject their thoughts into our whatever we have going on at the time. To be quite honest, it really doesn't matter what it is. You will find them trying to interject themselves. Interlopers. He that cannot stay at home. And that is what you have right here as Karen calls in to the California Task Force. And that's what this little broadcast was about. So what I want y'all to do is let me know what you guys think about this. Tell me what you think about Karen. Am I reading it wrong, or do you agree with the woman who called in to the California Reparations Task Force? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. And with that being said, please like and share this video, like and share. And also you can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And of course, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And of course, if you want to support this channel, you can do so by the links that will be in the description, the Cash App and PayPal. Thank you so much. Peace, power, blessings, and protection be upon all of you and yours. And once again, thank you for tuning in to the beatzillapdx official show right here at the News Breaks. So thank y'all for watching these. I appreciate that. I like doing these news breaks. And of course, we do the lives, but I do like doing the news breaks because we can just focus on one particular story. So thank you so much, and happy New Black Media Appreciation Month. Because without y'all, there is no us. So stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first. Shalom, y'all.